There is a ton of information online telling you why you should come to Positano, and it's obvious why. I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous. It's like something off of a postcard. You've got the delicious Italian food, the beautiful blue water. What else could you possibly want? However, this video is designed to show you a few things that you should definitely consider before booking your trip.
Positano. From fishing village to Instagram hotspot, this is now one of the most famous places to visit on the Amalfi Coast. Social media influencers and celebrities alike flock here to enjoy the photo-friendly streets and obvious charm. One way people love to explore the Amalfi Coast is by car, so we jumped in our little Fiat 500 and hit the road, but it wasn't quite what we expected.
If you're planning on hiring a car to drive the Amalfi Coast, it is beautiful, don't get me wrong. However, be prepared. You have to have your wits about you when driving in Italy in general, but the roads are very narrow. A lot of the drivers are quite impatient and there are a lot of bends, so you will sometimes get people coming around the corner in the middle of the road. If you're the kind of person that gets stressed easily by that sort of thing, maybe you shouldn't drive it. The Amalfi Coast in general is quite tricky for parking. Actually, all of the streets surrounding Positano are absolutely chock-a-block with cars, so any available parking that is there is likely to be taken up pretty early on in the day. There are a few places that you can pay to park, but there's really not that many, so they fill up super quickly, and of course they're going to cost a little bit more money. The struggle with the driving and the parking is something we've personally experienced whilst we've been here. Bearing in mind we are traveling during COVID, so there's a lot of international travelers who aren't coming here right now, and also midweek off season in October. So really take that into account if you're coming, especially during peak season. We would actually recommend doing this on a Vespa or a motorbike because it just seems a lot more freeing. When you're doing it in a car, parking is also a huge issue, whereas if you have a motorbike or a Vespa, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier. But even with that, my point still stands, and if you get stressed with the traffic and the narrow streets and the winding roads, then maybe it's best just not to drive at all. Due to limited roads around town, you're going to be doing most of your exploring by foot. Now, if you're like Alex and I and you love exploring new cities on foot, especially Italian cities, then this is going to be an absolute dream for you. It really does look as good in person as it does on camera, and I guarantee you'll be stopping every 5 minutes to take in the views. On the flip side, if walking is difficult or just not possible for you, there are a lot of steps. I warn you now. I guess you can't get this lovely layered effect without them, unfortunately. So definitely keep that in mind, as this could be a big reason why you shouldn't visit.
Another reason you might not want to visit is because of the prices. Before you come here, be prepared that you're going to be paying more than you would in the rest of Italy. Now, you do get what you pay for. It's a fantastic location. Like, that in itself is kind of worth the extra money. But just as an idea, where we are right now is just a normal standard place here, and the prices are at least 2 times, close to 3 times the price of other places in Italy. So, for example, bruschetta would cost you €8, a margherita pizza 13 euros. Now usually you can get this in the pizzerias around Italy for about 3 to 5 euros. Even things like the caprese salad are 13 euros. So just bear in mind you might want to budget for that and save up a bit so you can really enjoy the place. It kind of has a feel of being in like a huge, beautiful resort, and to enjoy those places properly, you need to have a bit of money. It's kind of like going to Vegas and not actually having much money with you. You're not going to get much out of it. So if you want to be on a budget, this might not be the place for you. There are plenty other places around Italy that you would be better suited to.
The cocktails here cost 10 euros each, which actually I think is pretty reasonable considering the price of the food and also the amazing view that you get in the background. So we have gone for an Aperol Spritz and a Limoncello Spritz. Now limoncello, I believe, is one of the biggest exports of the area and it's super popular. You will see it everywhere walking around. So I'm guessing the Limoncello Spritz must be unique to the area and it's delicious.
Carrying on with the prices, we've come down to the beach area and it seems to be pretty similar. So a beer cost me €5.50. We've got a view of the beach, we're basically on the beach. Emma got a coffee for €1.20 because she's starting to feel tipsy and she's a bit lightweight. But it seems like extremely reasonable for what you're getting. So I think if you're a backpacker, a cheap backpacker like we used to be, who's very stingy, it's probably not the place for you. But if you're going on a holiday, it's got it all.
We've had to retreat into the shade because it is boiling today. Bearing in mind, this is October. If you are sensitive British skin people who are gonna burn like a crisp, then keep in mind the weather, please. If you don't want to splash out for a fancy restaurant meal, there are other options available here. This slice is pretty big and it's only €3.80 compared to the 15 to 20 euros that you'd be spending at minimum at one of the restaurants.
You look just lovely, dear.
Another reason you might not want to visit is if you are one of those people who cannot stand this kind of fronting Instagram culture of envy where we try and take photos of our holidays and make everyone at home jealous. If you're someone who doesn't like that, this might be a place to avoid because there's a lot of that going on, I'm not gonna lie. I know that might sound kind of rich coming from a couple of YouTubers, but there is a lot of it going on all over the world these days and it is hard to avoid in general, but if it's something that really grinds your gears and winds you up, best to avoid it. There's definitely enough places in Italy to find your own little space away from the Instagrammers. I mean, we have stayed in a villa, made our own pizza in a pizza oven. We've gone down to different sort of hidden beach areas. So there's definitely possibilities for getting away from people. But there's no denying that this area of Italy is stunning and it's very easy to see why all the fronting and Instagramming goes on. For example, I've been able to buy a lovely glass of Prosecco for €3.50 and take a short walk away from the crowds to have views like this behind me. It's so easy to make it look good.
When I found out that this place was a playground for the fashion icons and the rich and the famous, I grabbed the only shirt that I owned and got changed immediately. But it turns out, actually, I'm way overdressed, especially for the beach.
A beach is a beach, right?
Yeah. I've said in other videos that I am not a fan of pebble beaches. As far as pebble beaches go, this one's actually quite nice. The pebbles are very small, it's not uncomfortable to lie on. If the reason that you want to visit Positano is because it seems so unique, let me tell you that you can find the same things all over Italy. If you're looking for scenic cliffside villages, you can find them all over. For example, Telero is a good untouristy option. If you want to find beautiful beaches, then I can't recommend Puglia enough for you. Food, just all over. Saying that, this is a really stunning place to come and visit, but it just might not be as unique as you potentially think that it is.
We hope we have given you some food for thought as to whether or not you think you should be visiting Positano.
I have to say that this place was amazing and
we had a lovely time.
It was actually better than the pictures and way better than we thought it would be.
And I think a big reason for that is the fact that all the photos that we've seen have been in like normal times, not in COVID off-season times, so we expected lots of crowds and busyness and that just wasn't what it was today.
So one of my biggest regrets is that we didn't actually actually have enough time here. So if you're coming to Europe or coming to this area, I personally would recommend that you spend 3 days at least. One for the Amalfi Coast, one for Positano, and one for doing a boat trip to explore around the area.
Yes, that's one thing I'm gutted we didn't get to do, is a boat trip. That would have just been the cherry on top of the cake. Hopefully now we have given you enough information so you can make an informed decision on whether or not you would like to come here.
Leave in the comments, have you been here? Do you like it? Would you like to visit here? Or what type of holiday do you prefer?
And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course, give us a big fat like.
And for anyone that is watching right now that hasn't seen us before, I do something that I don't like. It started as a joke, I can't stop it. So, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and beans out!
Next time on Travel Beans.
I can't believe this is how our Italy series is going to end.